Okay. Good morning, everybody. Unfortunately, we're not going to watch the movie, but I know most of you maybe would like to, but unfortunately not. So, my name is Aare. It's a great pleasure to be here. And why do we always start with this picture here is that who has seen this movie? Raise up the hand. Exactly. Most men have seen it. Every Christmas they are running it, several times in a row. And when, Christmas time comes, then all the men are happy and all the women are, sad because, men are looking at the movie and drinking beer. Anyhow, the movie represents the way how we actually live today. And, and what happened in this movie was that in Washington, D.C., John McClane was hanging around there, and then suddenly, out of the blue, some bad hackers are taking over the Washington, D.C. electricity, traffics, elevators, and everything. John McClane, an old policeman, he didn't touch computers, yeah? He was, punching faces of the hackers, when he had the possibility. But he had help from one guy, or actually two guys, and they were the ones who were, doing the computer stuff. And of course, at the end, the good guys were winning, and this is how the movie actually ends. But it's a good movie. I would recommend to watch it over and over for everybody. But nevertheless, so this is how this movie runs for, is the same motto for our company as well, that everything that we do should be a little bit, kinky and a little bit out of the normal minds and normal procedures, and it has to be fun, it has to be cool, and everybody has to learn a little bit of our activities. And let's be honest, this picture is way cooler than this picture. But what about us? So Cybexer Technologies is a technology company who is providing trainings and exercises. And myself, Aare, I have been a part of the most coolest exercises in the NATO. One is lock shields and the other one is cross swords. The second one, by the way, is conducted after every 2 years here in Latvia. Last year we also did it here in Latvia with the cooperation with our good partner, CERT-LV. And I saw the CERT-LV leader also here. So thank you, Baiba, for supporting us in this matter. But what we are actually doing, and what is cybersecurity? Cybersecurity, in essence, it should be, very, very easy. Yeah? You have to protect all your assets, and let's be honest. In the background, most of the people shouldn't even know what the cybersecurity is. It's from our point of view, it's like a service that your IT is providing you. That how the paper cuts into the printer. Yeah. So this is the way it should be in a regular business as well. And to do that, we are always providing, the best trainings and exercises for the people who have to do it. It is a funny picture, so I don't have anything about, good hackers, but this we have also had in our own exercises. When, a bunch of people are doing defense about huge networks, then if you don't have a proper, let's say, short description, or you don't know what you're properly doing, then we had a situation where two guys were managing one machine. And of course, it was being taken over by our then red team, as we call it, attackers. And then the command line was open, and then it opened up the text edit and asked that, who are you? And the attacker was writing back that I'm the administrator, and said, oh, okay, and left the machine. And this is actually how it actually can be happening also in real life. There are three kinds of people in the world when we are talking about cybersecurity. So about learning. So the first people are that they are seeing that, okay, there is some kind of stick. Aare is jumping on the stick. I will get, some nose bleeding, and the smart ones will see that, okay, there was some stick. Aare stood on it. It hit him, it was, blood, teeth come out, and it was very bad, yeah? So smart people will learn that this is bad thing, don't, step on it. The second people are that they will see, but they don't believe, and they will try and step on it as well. They will get, their nose bleeding, and they feel that, okay, it was really, really bad, and they will not do it again. And the third category of people are that they see that I will step on it, they will step on it, and they still don't learn. And this, if you come and join our trainings and exercises, then our aim is that you will not be in the third category. So we will teach you in a proper way that you will we will learn from other mistakes than yourselves. And what actually triggers us to speak about cybersecurity is our own privacy. Yeah? Nobody gives, blue eyes for, let's say, your company data. Everything starts from your own cyber hygiene. So if your cyber hygiene is good, and if you start Googling yourself, then you don't find, some nasty pictures when you're coming out from the shower and doing the first picture, is my hair okay? I'm doing it very often. But the point is that everything starts from our own cyber hygiene. If we are keeping our own cyber hygiene good, and we are taking this same experience to us with the work, then you will be, let's say, most probably be out of the problems. This is a good picture from Google Street View, I think, from the year 2015. Then they implemented this blurring of faces, yeah? And look what happened with the poor cow. Huh? But this is something that actually triggers us to think about why we should, think about cybersecurity. What are we publishing in the social medias, and why we are doing it? And let's be honest, the hacking in nowadays, the hacking basics is quite simple. If you don't know how to do it, then you just go to the YouTube, start typing in how to hack. The first answer is Wi-Fi password. Then there is a a nice guideline. What kind of tools you have to download, what kind of things you have to enter, and then you only have to push click, 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 next, 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 accept, accept, and put a few figures into it. And if you're lucky, then you might get access to your neighbor's Wi-Fi, and if not, then you will try another neighbor. Yeah, but this also shows us that the basics of the hacking has been so easy that most of the youngsters are now doing it nowadays. And when I was looking this from my previous work time, was always that if the youngsters, usually the youngsters are living not in the big cities, yeah? Not in Riga, not in Valmiera, but a little bit, I don't know, is Valmiera a big city? I hope so. But if usually the youngsters are from, let's say, countrysides, because they don't have nice places, where to sit in the evenings, in the malls and so on. They are going, in the rooms or, their homes, start up the computer, and then they will, let's say, investigate what is there in the wide world web. Yeah? And believe me, they will find some cool stuff. Usually they are caught very easily because they don't know what they are doing. They are just downloading some tools. They will try them out. They are not hiding themselves, and they are caught very quickly. And again, our approach is that we have different approach in training the people. So our one of the goal is that if you know how to attack, then you are able also to defend yourself. And our trainings are always consisted of two things, is to understand the basic of how the computer networks are working, how to attack them, and through that, you are able to understand how the mindset of attackers are working, and then defend yourself a little bit better. Every computer, every device in the internet is some kind of resource. And if you leave the resource, let's say, unattended, then somebody will grab it and use it for their own sake. And this is what we have seen as well. And just to see how the evolution has been, is that if few years back, or actually 10 years back, somebody had to draft the code, execute it, and share it in internet. Nowadays, if you don't know how to conduct an attack, then you only have to understand that, okay, I have to get some access to one of the underground websites, and you have to have bitcoins, and then you can actually buy it as a service, and the service is quite good. You cannot get it, in, I don't know, one of your municipalities. They are actually giving you very good support from, the time when you, let's say, sign yourself up and say that, okay, now I want to buy a DDoS attack against LMT. Yeah? A bad example, sorry, yeah, but just to prove the point that, okay, because that's a quite good known company here, then this is the way it goes, that you just can buy some attack against someone. And and also you could buy some kind of tutorials, but I would not recommend them because they are free of charge in YouTube. And this is how we are moving on. So another topic is that if we are talking about cybercrime, then there is always money involved. And the simplest thing is that what the bad guys are looking for is, your credit card data. And we are constantly, browsing around in different dark web sites to check out what kind of, let's say, good stuff is sold there. And just a, example of Estonian SEB debit card, the price is not good enough, it's $35, but nevertheless, in these kind of circumstances, you are able to buy them with, let's say, large scales. Yeah? So 100 dumps of different credit cards is $900, and if you buy 500 dumps, then it's $3,000. Yeah? So it's $6 per one credit card in the black market. And that's way cheaper than, let's say, proper lunch in Riga downtown. Yeah? $6 is €5, so it's quite cheap. Who has some kind of account in eBay or any other, let's say, e-shop kind of place? Just raise up the hand. And everybody of us have some kind of accounts that we have done it, and then we have left it, yeah? And one morning, a friend of a friend, called my friend and said, yoo-hoo, I logged on my PayPal account, and somebody has, put some money onto my account. And my friend did a recommendation of spend it. Spend it right away, yeah? It was not much, 100-something dollars, but actually when we started to investigate it, then we said that no, please do not spend it. It's a money laundry. And now they are using these kind of leftover accounts just to do the money laundering. And what they are doing is that they are pushing a couple of hundred of US dollars to your account and then spread this amount of money to different other accounts. And why they are doing it is just to get this trace as long as possible in different countries, in different people, that the authorities, when they are investigating it, they are just not able to trace where the money actually went and where it came from. File sharing, very important thing. And we had a very good example. One Monday, I got a call from a quite big company, and the IT director was telling me that, okay, something is fishy. So it's we have bought new racks of servers. We have extended our internet bandwidth, and still nothing goes better. Something is totally wrong in our network. And when we went in, then we saw that youngsters from east from here, yeah, had taken over the environment of this company and hosted a game. A proper game with 3,000 or 4,000 users per every evening, and were enjoying their life in this private company infrastructure. And when we kicked them out, then they had a few years of IT investments done. But this is something that just shows that how important it is to understand what is going on in your infrastructure, and your resources are a valuable asset. If it's not for you, then definitely for somebody else. Internet of Things. So this is a picture from Estonia, and we Estonians are quite a creepy guys, yeah? So if you turn your eyes on the right corner of the picture, then what do you see there? Nobody wants to answer, yeah? So anyhow, all these kind of things that we are finding from internet, and all these kind of things nowadays, smart homes are available also from internet, and usually they are not protected. And one of my good friends is also, when he visits me after a dinner and a few root beers, then he picks up his phone, starts playing it, and after a while, his wife is calling him and said, Janis, come home. You have had too many root beers, yeah? Then what he actually does is that he's playing around with his mobile device, shuts down the lights, locks some of the doors, and just, playing around with his family, and then it's time to go, home. And this is the society we are actually living in at the moment. But when we are already seeing these kind of things, then this should already raise our attention. And I'm not a doctor, but the doctors who have seen this picture have actually told me that Aare, don't worry, this guy will live. It's nothing bad. It's very good sign if all the parameters are right. But anyhow, if you can already see these kind of products through the internet, and if you can monitor if they are sending some kind of data, then most probably there is a possibility to send the data back, and this kind of thing can already make a lot of trouble to everybody. External devices, same thing. So if you're using, tablet, USB, SD card, external hard drive, and so on, so they are quite, everybody knows that they are used to also for a cyber attacks. And what is the good part with, these kind of things is that if you charge them, then there's two possibilities. You're putting them to power supply, or you're, connecting them via your computer. And what happened in 10 years ago already in Frankfurt airport was that in the tower, a person went in and started to charge his phone in the computer, and the phone was infected. The malware jumped from phone to computer, and the airport was quite blind for 9 hours. But this is something that, again, we have to understand that all kind of things that we can imagine in our regular life nowadays, are there your own devices, are the mobile devices, computers, whatever you see in your office network, printers, file servers, mail servers, web servers, everything that are in your everyday life can be a target, and they will be used in different areas. And us, Cybexer Technologies, what we are doing is that we are putting everything, what we see, what has happened, what we think will happen, are putting into the exercises. And we are quite scalable in our possibilities how to build up a proper game nets. So everything that you can imagine in a one office network, we are building it up in our environment. We are able to show what the blue teams and how they are doing. We are scoring every movement of each blue team member. So blue teams are defending, one red team is attacking, and we, in the middle, we are evaluating the movements, the targets, the people, the behavior, the things that they implement, and how quickly they implement it, and what they implement where, and how beneficial it is. So we are able to do absolutely everything in the scale that if something happens in our networks, in our cyber range, in our game networks, then we are able to do that. Our approach is that what we want to cover is tactical, operational, and strategical level at the same time. So imagine that you have a regular company, you have your IT guys, then there is a mid-management level, and then there is the C-level, yeah? And if something hits you very bad, let's say a web defacement, then from the lowest level, is it restored from backup? It takes, hopefully, let's say, minutes till hours. Mid-management is mad because they cannot, do business, sell their products. And if this takes long, let's say that it's a bank, or ISP, or any other big company who's doing their service through, let's say, a web page, then the C-level should already start worrying or making some kind of decisions that, okay, should we do PR? Who should we contact? Do we have to contact the local CERT? Are there any authorities or regulators that we have to inform? And all kind of these kind of things we're putting in our different game networks. And what we also are able to do is that we are able to measure each category by minute. So when red team started to do their attacks, then what is the result and what the red team actually did against what target and how it implemented the scores. And this is if something happens in our game network, then we are publishing this kind of information up to the C-level as well. So in one company, what we want to do is we want to try the whole command chain from one layer to another layer. And this is something new. And to organize this kind of exercise and be part of them, it's unbelievably cool. It's fun, it's educatable, and it's really, really cool to be part of one live fire exercise. Live fire means, flying bullets, yeah? actual red team members are sitting in one place, attacking the infrastructure of the blue teams that they have to defend. And this is something that we like to do. We are doing it very well. And if somebody is interested in these kind of trainings or exercises, then come by and ask what we are doing. And if not I, but you will be hacked, then we have a slogan: better laugh at the psychologist's office than cry in the psychiatrist's office. So this is the thing, if you're hit, then don't put your head under the sand. And I will assure you that today we will have two good presentations. One will be given by my good friend and colleague, Mr. Clyde Maggie, at 3:30 here at the same place. Yes. And we also will have a Cybexer workshop where we are guiding you through our cyber hygiene platform, what it gives you, what are the benefits, and what we will do. So it's quite interactive. So please join if you have time, and I will show you our capabilities. But this is actually it from my side. If you have any questions, then please ask. If not, then yes, I will give the word back to you.
Aare, thank you for being on time. Thanks very much. Now, questions to Aare? Good one. Okay, do we have questions? Yes, I see you raised hand. Please.
Shout.
Yeah, I don't have microphone on that side. I have this side, but you can just shout your question, and I will repeat it loud. So. Great question.
Yes, first of all, they are organized by NATO Cyber Defense Center of Excellence. It's a military exercise, and outcomes of the exercise is it's not for public. But what we can say is that each year the blue teams are getting better and better. The main aim of this kind of exercise is to put the blue teams under a huge stress. So everything that are built in the environment is an attack vector. And if you don't experience this on a daily basis, then having this two days full cyber attack against your environment, this is something that is always surprising and challenging. So even if the blue teams are getting better each of the year, then the amount of attacks and the sophistication of the attacks is still definitely surprising vector for all of the blue teams. So every year, everybody is working very, very hard to do that.
Okay, good one. Thank you. Right. Okay, be sure to grab Aare in the coffee break and ask some more questions. Now, I know you've seen a lot. I know you're not allowed to talk about everything, but I think it should be very fun. Okay, and here's a nice little souvenir, a present for you from our organizers. Thank you very much. A nice applause to Aare.